Hey, you ever ask yourself, how come the wealthy were able to take over the economy in America and maintain it for generations? Or have you ever asked yourself, how come all of these bankers, monopolists, industrialists somehow was able to unite when we see most of the people and organizations throughout history seem to have a problem united? Well, we're going to cover that today with the history of income taxes, part 6. Now, we left off prior talking about the different levels of when income taxes is important, where warfare came involved, how the Belmont Morgan Syndicate played a major role in bailing out America. We'll get back into these type of concepts, but today, even after the Albert Pike and the focus on the importance of warfare when it comes down to these monopolists, industrialists, these so-called elites, these bankers of the world. When it comes down to the nitty-gritty, what we're really going to realize is that America is just as important to them as England. In future episodes, we're going to further cover the Battle of Waterloo. But I say that to say, during this time period that we're getting to today, 1910, in this time frame, the national debt is at a very low, manageable level. Things change. Why and how tells a very serious story. This episode right now is going to be focused on something you've probably heard of. It's one of those buzzwords that some people automatically attribute it to conspiracy theories. Jeklyl Island. This discussion in this part of the series is about the importance and influence of Jeklyl Island on your life today. Whether you know about this or not, this is something that clearly is directly affecting you. And this is, we can view as the epicenter of our series. So let's move forward with the beginning of this. Now for starters, 1907. In America, what's happening right now? We already went through the Spanish-American War. 1907, America has been operating, controlling, and dominating a military base in Cuba, Guantanamo Bay, also known as Gitmo. Sugar and tobacco plantations in Puerto Rico, which is now America's. Setting up Navy and military and refueling ports in Guam and the Philippines, specifically used to prepare for some type of military activity. Keep in mind, in 1907, after the Spanish-American War, America went into a foreign policy of isolationism, otherwise known as neutrality, meaning America foreign policy was that as far as other countries are concerned, we are neutral. We're not getting involved with anything. We don't have allies where if they get to war, we're going to join the war. We're not starting a war with anybody. We're neutral. We're focusing on America only. We'll do trade with and business with other countries, but America is neutral in 1907. No wars, no connections with an ally that's going to force us into a war. Interesting. The Panic of 1907. Many different reasons can be viewed as a cause of this. But one thing we should be very clear of. This, just like the recession, the Panic and Recession of 1893, is a precursor of the recession of recessions that we all know about. We'll get to that Great Depression discussion in upcoming episodes. But for right now, we remember 1893. From 1890, leading up to 1893, the Morgan Belmont Syndicate was known to have taken out $400 million worth of gold out of America into Europe, using the biggest bank in Europe Kuhn, Loeb, and Company, bailed out our president, Grover Cleveland, in 1895. So we see this happen with the recession of 1893. What do you think happened in 1907? Some may think gold was pulled out in massive loads, but at this time, that wasn't the problem. You see, you heard the saying, misery loves company. Well, hate breeds hate. Corruption creates corruption. What do you think happened when other industrialists, monopolists, bankers, future bankers, prospective bankers, they were able to see out of all of the industries going on, the bankers are the ones who are really running things. When all else fails, you have your business, you got your loans from the bank, you can't pay your loans for whatever reasons, the bank ends up balancing out those loans with your business. Buy out and take over a lot of businesses after they go bankrupt. So bankers had a certain appeal to people. So leading into the 1907 panic, a lot of people got into different industries. They tried to be monopolists. What did they do with their money? Same thing the Rockefellers did. Same thing many of these industrialists did. Open up a bank. Find the easiest and quickest way to give out loans, collect interest, and make your money make more money. And then take that into the concepts of banking and how things got egregious by 1907. There's two things that we have to focus on. Something called run-on banks and something called currency drains. Now, a run-on banks is when bankers, they have a set amount of gold reserves. You see, at this time period, 1907, gold is the boss. Gold is standard. But the way that you view currency right now, that's not how currency was back then. There were different forms of paper, but those notes were issued with approval of the United States government by the said banks. They basically had their own banknotes or their own money. They all had a different seal, but it was from the bank, the personal bank. JP Morgan's bank had their own type of note. The National Bank of America, National City Bank of New York, had their own notes. Kuhn, Loeb and Company in Europe had their own notes. With all this being said, the ratio that every bank had to have from gold reserves to actual notes or dollar bills, money, was 10-1. For the record, right now, that's pretty close to how things are still operated on a base level. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty before we get into what's happening right now. If the ratio was 10-1, I could have $10 million worth of gold, but on paper, I'm legally allowed to say I have $100 million worth of gold. This way, the bank can profit off of interest by giving out more loans. That is the formula for banking. Because most people do not understand that the bank has 10-1 ratio, we think that if our money is backed by gold, it's a 1-1 ratio. No, that's the first loophole of banking. That's how the bankers were able to expeditiously get so rich. But here's the problem. They all had their own original blueprint for banking. This was a system that was created by the bankers. The people didn't say that that ratio should exist. The bankers realized we have all the power. The politicians, the lawyers, everybody you think of, the judge, we control their actual bank. If we come together, we run this.